And we are live over on Cult EXE, a channel over here at Plus One EXP. I'm Keegan, the content necromancer and cult leader.
And I'm Sarah, the high level monk and other cult leader.
Plus One's a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare, alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation.
The dream and hope here at Plus One EXP is to help amazing designers find great players who love their games and help amazing players find great designers whose games they can love.
Cool.
Uh, Today you're joining us for character study. I'm doing it, Keegan.
Yeah, no, you can have
Rude.
fun.
A cult classic where we sit down with folks across all across the TTRPG space to learn more about their character and systems they love in and out of game. We're taking audience questions, so feel free to chime in with questions as we move along. Keegan, do you want to introduce our guests?
Yeah, we're sitting down today with Amit Moshe. Amit's the creator of City of Mist RPG, founder, publisher, and creative director of Son of Oak Game Studios, and he'll soon be releasing two more games based on the City of Mist engine, Queers and Tokyo Otherscape.
That is true. Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Hi, thanks for coming and being with us today.
Thanks
We're
for having
really
me.
excited to have you.
Me too.
Yeah. Before we get started, is there anything else you want to highlight? Kind of what you've got going on, or anything about you that you want to share before we kind of jump in?
No, yeah. I mean, that's me. I mean, at least in the RPG space, that's what I do. That's what we do. We created City of Mist. City of Mist is about to be 5 years old the end of this
Wow.
month, so it's actually been around for a while. Yeah. We also have two games coming up, and the next item after that will probably be more City of Mist books, and specifically one that explores kind of different districts and different ethnicities. So we're really excited about that. We've already had a couple of districts written by, many different writers, and we're excited to kind of bring that into print format. So far, it was just PDFs, and now we're going to have like a book all about different parts of the city. So yeah, these are the things that are happening at the minute.
That's so exciting. Oh my gosh, 5 years. That's wild. So for those who might not be familiar with City of Mist, can you give us like a quick pitch on what it is and why people should want to play it other than that it just sounds really cool?
Yeah, so in City of Mist, you play ordinary people with legendary powers. It's a modern fantasy game. You play very much in our own universe, our own world, but it's the city. It's this random city. Nobody knows exactly what's going on with it. There is the mist, which hides supernatural events from most of the denizens of the city. But you play an individual, just like all of us here, maybe with a little bit of a detective touch. Like you could have a little bit. You could be an investigator, or you could be a cop, but you could also be just like a high schooler. And you have the powers of a legend. So somewhere inside you, in your heart and your soul, there is a legend growing. It could be any legend that you could think of from your childhood, or any part of piece of mythology that you love, or any urban legend, anything really, literary character. And you get the powers of this character. You're still you, but you have the powers of this character. And the game is all about discovering what the heck is going on in the city. So it's a kind of like a murder mystery with showdowns and superpowers, but also the struggle inside yourself between how much of yourself do you want to give to this legend, and how much do you want to stay yourself. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Okay, but that's very cool. Like legitimately, when I heard that, like the pitch for this system, my brain was just immediately on fire of all of like the different characters I would want to be. And I was like, I'm gonna need 500 of these games because I need to be every single one of these. Like I want
So
this.
there's a lot of character possibilities in this game. Absolutely.
Awesome. So on that note though, we're gonna kind of walk through building a character, your character, in City of
Yeah.
Mist, which I'm very excited about. So where do we start?
Um, so actually, there are two ways of creating a character in City Mist. There's the rapid way, where you just kind of pick out. There's kind of like the rapid character creation section of one of our
Mhm.
expansions, and you just kind of pick out a couple of tags out of a list. So I guess the first thing we should probably talk about is what is a character in City of Mist, because it's very, very, very different to any other role-playing game probably that you've played. So in City of Mist, the character has 4 themes. It's your character is made out of 4 themes. You know, a theme could be a relationship that you have, an object that you have, a set of powers, skills, abilities, that kind of thing. But it's almost like 4 narrative themes that your character is created of. And these themes are divided between purple themes, and I have the cards here, so I'm going to show it off. Purple themes, which are your legendary themes, and red themes that are your ordinary. So usually your character will either have, you could have 2 of each, or you could have 3 in 1, stuff like that. And each one of these themes is a kind of a major aspect of your character. Like I said, relationship, it could be a power set, things like that. And in each one of those themes, you have 3 things. You have a motivation, 3 power tags, and 1 weakness tag. And that's it. So the whole character, there are no stats in this game. Nothing is numerical or anything like that. Your whole character is built out of a set of tags that describe your character. And the way the game works is whenever you take an action, you just invoke all the tags that are relevant to that action and get a plus 1 for each one of those power tags and a -1 for a weakness tag. So the game is really, it's really narrative. It's really creative. You could have tags like a gun. You could have tags like good investigator, things that characterize you. You could have tags like laser beams out of your eyes. Or you could also have tags like things you say and things you do. Like one character has like endless speeches. Another character has a tag called Listen, Son. So every time they start a line with Listen, Son, they get a +1 to their roll.
Amazing.
So there's really a lot of like character stuff that you can do with it. And the other thing, the reason I created the system as tags is that you can have any power set that you could dream of without building a whole system of rules around it, because the tags already support it. So you can, you could have whatever ability you want. You want to be able to slow down time? Great. You got take a tag, slow down time. And every time you slow down time or try to do that, you get a +1. So yeah, the tag system really makes it a very, very flexible character creation. So in rapid character creation, we're just going to blast through choosing tags from lists. We've created lists of like the most common, gods, monsters, wizards, stuff like that. And that's kind of like the fastest way to do it. So if we can just kind of like maybe just do a warm-up character with a rapid, that would be really cool.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So, I thought about a character for myself, but I thought about it for the longer one. So maybe we could think of another character to do.
So, okay. So a rapid fire short question.
Yeah.
Or short guy.
What is a legend that you would like to?
Hey, I'm sorry, but I have to do this. It's Dominic Toretto. The legend is Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious. That has to be. It has
cool.
To
so
be.
That's something that a lot of players really get into, like taking characters from media and using them as their legends. And it's really, really cool, the characters that you create around it. But because I don't know them so well, I don't even know their gender. So you're going to have to tell me all about it.
I will tell you all about it. This is the man who cares about 2 things, cars and family. And that's all we need to know.
Woo! Here we go. So if you want to open up in the folder that I sent you guys, the rapid character creation, the step 1 is choosing your legendary archetype. And that's on the second page of that. So the first page just kind of tells you the steps. And the second page lists a bunch of legendary archetypes. So Dominic could be, if we're talking about legendary archetypes, I'm thinking like it could be a commoner thief. It could be a knight warrior. It could be, he could be, I'm looking at other things, swashbuckler. I don't think trickster, although there are a couple of like...
Yeah, I feel like the commoner thief fits better because if we like again, this is something I have to stress all the time. In the beginning of the Fast and Furious franchise, he's stealing DVD players. Like that's the big heist.
That's
So
where he
I feel
starts. Yeah.
that's where he begins. So I feel like this is a good place for us to start as well.
Awesome. So we're picking up the commoner thief, which usually, like in more, we can't use franchise characters, so we use all like legendary characters. So we mentioned here Goldilocks, Jack and the Beanstalk, Aladdin, all these great characters that start out as commoner thieves. And basically, it tells you the three themes that you should pick up for it if you were to go full legendary. So the next decision that you kind of need to make is how legendary and how ordinary do you want your character to be? What's the balance? 3 to legendary, 1 to ordinary, the other way around, or 2 and 2? You still have to have one of each, so you can't go. These are your options.
Gotcha.
So
So I feel like yeah, we got to go maybe like borderliner, like
right.
that middle, because we got the swift and we got the lucky, which feels very very accurate.
Cool. So we have swiftness and lucky. These are the two themes that you're gonna pick out of this rapid character theme. So let's see. Pick 1, 2, or 3 Mythos theme kits. I'm going back to step 1. Pick 1, 2, or 3 Mythos theme kits from the legendary archetype, depending on the awareness level that you wish for. So you chose a borderliner, and you're going to grab swiftness and lucky. So now we're just going to scroll down to those swiftness and lucky, and they come fully built out. So swiftness is on page. There it is. It's on page 46.
Yes.
Yeah. So your mystery, the thing that you're always going to be asking yourself as a character and always going to want to answer is, read it.
Can they catch me? Can they catch me? This is everything.
Isn't this so appropriate for?
This is perfect.
Yeah. So can they catch me is going to be something your character is always going to be wondering and testing, right? This is your mystery. And power tags you automatically get as quick as lightning. And then you get to choose 2 more. So there is a level of customizability for the rapid one as well. You can choose 2 more from the power tag list and 1 more from the weakness tags. So
okay, so it's got to be, I get 2, so it's got to be evade pursuers 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know, Keegan, what's for the other one?
Oh goodness. I feel like record-breaking dash is just too good to miss here.
Yeah, 100%.
There is
Love
a
it.
question related to this in the chat real fast, which is how to make sure a power tag is actionable. Taylor's saying their group sometimes struggles with tags that sound cool, but struggle in the moment to make work with a move.
Yeah. So what you have to do is, it's really important to make from the get-go, make the power tags something helpful. People like think about something cool, like I don't know, like the way you're dressed sometimes can be cool, but if your MC doesn't take you to places where it matters how you dress, then it'll be hard to invoke it. It really has to be helpful things. So the best thing is just to look at all the examples in City of Mist books. Of course, we do it kind of like the way it should be. And it really is important to think of it. Is this helpful when you create it? What situations will I be using it? It's not enough just to let people just like fly with creativity. And the City of Mist Player's Guide does guide you through that, how to make sure that people create the right tags when you're creating your own. The other option is use rapid character creation, and then you're going to get the tags, that work.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay, so we have 3 tags, and we just need 1 weakness tag. So I'm just going to go with nowhere to run.
Yeah.
Because I think that's, a bad situation for someone like Dominic. Cool. So the second one you chose, we're going to go up to lucky, and that's on page 44.
Yep.
And that's another great mystery that you're getting there.
Yeah, can my luck run out?
It's too good. I'm so happy.
And so can they catch me? Can my luck run out? Very much the themes of these like archetype characters, and Dominic is one of them.
Yeah.
So you do get a serendipitous turn of events, which is um, it's one of those tricky tags to use because technically, if your MC is like a little, doesn't know the game very well, you could be using it in every roll that you make. Oh, I'm lucky. Oh, I'm lucky. Oh, I'm lucky. That's not how the lucky tag works. It's
Mm-hmm.
more about like tell us, something amazing that's happening right now in your
Yeah.
favor, and not just like a
Mm-hmm.
bucket falls on a ladder, falls on a thing,
Right.
but just make it
Right.
really Dominique-y in that moment that it really
Yeah.
does happen for
Yeah.
them. What other stuff would you grab out of there?
It has to be a magic item so it can be his necklace. It has to. Like we're legally
Cool.
obligated. Um,
Cool.
and
So
then
does he have a necklace that is like kind of like his
he does.
purple
Like
power?
throughout the whole franchise, he has this one necklace. It becomes like a whole thing. Like it's a plot point in one of the movies later. Like it's everything to me.
Awesome. I
Uh,
love it.
and then maybe Keegan agreed to like help share my luck with others. Like it's got to be he helps his family. It's got to be that one.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, that sounds great. So you have your three power tags right there, and I'm gonna say weakness tag feels like either overstretch my luck or foolhardy.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's definitely
what do you got?
overstretched by luck.
Okay.
Sarah,
Cool.
I could see it on your face.
I know. I'm so like this is very good.
Awesome. So when you play this game, your MC has a kind of a counterbalance. You can invoke
Mhm.
your own weakness tags, and you do it because that's the way you get XP. And when you
Okay.
invoke a weakness tag, you get -1 to the roll, but you get XP and you grow. But also the MC can do it in certain situations where it really applies. So if you're going to push your luck too much, then the MC says, okay, you're overstretching your luck. This is like too much. Take a -1 to your roll. You still get your XP. But that's kind of one way for characters to grow. So that's it. We did lucky and we did swiftness. And we're going back to step 2, which is choose a noir trope. So the detective, the noir aspects of City of Mist is like a mystery. What's going on? Now we're going to talk about your character. Okay, your character's spirit animal is Dominic. Who is your
Yes.
character? Is it you? Is it someone
Okay.
like you? What do they do? So there's a list there of occupations. You can really customize it. We'll see it later. But right now, because it's rapid, it's just going straight to the trope.
Yeah. This one's I'm like scrolling through all of these and this is very good. Um I feel like if we're making because I don't want to make
Sarah,
me
make
playing
this
Dominic
you. Yeah.
Toretto. Make this me?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, who would have Dominic? It would be you.
It would be me. 100% it would. Okay, so I feel like just like scrolling through here, it's either let's see. Ooh, these are so cool though. I'm already getting sidetracked. Charmer sounds really cool. Um
Which one? Which one did you have?
the Charmer one. Charmer sounds cool.
Oh, we're at choose an occupation, correct?
Oh, occupation.
Yeah, you want to
Is
use
it-
it. Yeah, just like from the first list. Like I said, you could.
Oh, I gotta go all the way back.
totally.
I got excited.
That's good. You
Let's
can
see. Okay.
totally kind of like you could make your character like break out of the rapid, but right now we're just testing it out.
Yep. Let's do. Oh man. Let's do stage performer, man. I stream a lot.
It. Yes.
Do that.
Yes, let's do that. Stage performer. So we're going to pick that up as your first theme, and because then it says if you're a borderliner, you get to choose another ordinary one,
Okay.
and if you are touched, which is the most, personal and least magical one, you get to choose a third one. But you only chose borderliner, so you get to choose one more from that little list. Charmer's there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
there you
100%. 100%. Yep.
Cool. So we got stage performer and charmer, and we're going to do the same with these. Just scrolling all the way down to that. So stage performer is, I guess, all the way down to page 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, so when the ordinary themes are different, they don't have a mystery; they have an identity. It's like a statement about yourself. that you have to uphold as a character. It helps you grow. And if you don't, things happen, but I'll tell you about it later. So there's no love like the crowd's love, right? This is a
Mhm.
stage performer's identity, so to speak, or statement. Um, and then the power tag you automatically get is give a brilliant performance, of course. What else
Yeah.
would you pick? So you can
Uh,
choose other things there.
that's a great one. I feel like influence my audience probably.
Yeah.
That feels right. Keegan, does that feel right?
I was gonna recommend it. I was seeing if you were
Okay,
gonna get there on your own, but
I appreciate you.
Cool. And one more.
Oh, one more. Ooh, probably all eyes on me. All eyes on me and influence my audience feels right.
Nice. And then go ahead and pick out a weakness tag.
Um, let's see. Help me, Keegan. You laughed. Pick to say it.
You
Say it.
totally
We're
I
going
laughed.
with
just
that one.
I really
You
like the
know it.
weakness tag, a sore throat. I just think it's very funny.
It is very funny.
Yeah, definitely for
Um,
streamers.
let's see. I feel like already did the crowd pleasers pretty good. I like
Already did
that.
the crowd pleaser. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Get that.
like it's already it's done. I don't know what else to do.
Cool. So, and then we'll do Charmer,
Hey, and that's gonna be up.
and that's on page 48. Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So it's gonna 100% be friendly and relatable. Um, and then build up rapport. I feel like are the
Nice.
two
And you
there.
already get a people's person automatically, and then you can
Huh.
grab a more weakness tag.
Let's see. Too informal and familiar. 100%. Today on Character Study, Sarah just drags herself.
Sorry, I should have prepared you for
No,
that. I
this
didn't
is
think about
It's
it.
really
wonderful.
funny.
I'm here for it. No, this is everything. This is so good. I
Right.
get to be Dominic Toretto, okay? I'll tell you all my secrets. I don't care.
Yeah, you get to be you and Dominic at the same time. So there you go.
Amazing.
I
Yeah.
do
So
have real quick a few more questions in the chat.
yeah.
Fumbling Forward ask, I understand a lot of people become confused by mystery and identity. Do you have any advice for MCs or players on how to navigate that?
Yeah. So when you're creating them, how to navigate it, you want to create in a mystery. First of all, these things are quite similar. Okay. You can, when you ask, can they ever get me? What was the thing? Will they catch me, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
stuff like that. You can also convert it into an identity, a statement. They'll never catch me. But the idea with City of Mist is that your legend drives you to explore, and your ordinary life, it drives you to kind of be settled in your ways and not explore. And this is the struggle between these two forces. That's because the mist, the force that kind of hides everything legendary in the city, uses your personal life to distract you away from the legendary things that are happening in the city. So that's the way it's supposed to be. Identities are supposed to kind of get you more like in a box, and mysteries are supposed to open you up to exploring and finding out. But it's true that there sometimes can be very similar. So when you create a mystery, you want to make it a question, like an open-ended question, not like, am I this or that? Or more like how, what, why, when, all these questions that are more open, not a yes, no question. And with the identity, you want to create something that's kind of like you're going to hit that wall at some point in the game. Like you're setting it up. And then the MC really needs to kind of pick up these things, and it's not needs, but rather these are tools that the MC can pick up and really create very PC focused adventures or situations. I hope that answers the questions, but I'm happy to, if it can focus a little bit more, I'm happy to say more.
That's perfect, because we had a follow up. What's the difference is, or how they work in general? And I feel like we answered that already. So cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's the rapid character creation.
Perfect.
In the end, I don't know if they can see it, Keegan. Can they see kind of
They
like the
can.
character sheet? Awesome. Yeah. So in the end, you get a character sheet, you get your 4 themes. I can show you one of the character sheets that are part of the starter box here, if I can ever get them out. Who did I get? Tlaloc. So Tlaloc is a kind of a 2-bit crook with an Aztec god, the Aztec rain god.
Very cool.
And if I'm kind of zooming in a little bit, you can see their
Okay.
4 cards. They're a borderliner.
Okay.
Which one am I moving? They have like 2 legendary
Mhm.
themes about the rain god and 2 ordinary themes about their life as a 2-bit crook. And the nice thing
Yeah.
about them is that they're kind of their legend is pushing them to stop being a crook, but they're
Right.
that's what they know. So their
Right.
legend has this huge responsibility, of being like the rain god. I'm supposed to save the world. This particular god
Mhm.
is supposed to save the world, and they're kind of like, no, I just want to do my thing. Leave me alone. And
Right.
that tension is something that the player kind of has to play with during the game.
Right. Oh gosh, that's so cool. So I want to ask, like, as you were making this game, what was the thing like that kind of sparked this for you? Like what made you sit down and say, I want to make this game where you're channeling these legends and I want to do it in a way that's like more narratively focused? Where's that inspiration come from?
Yeah. So first of all the kind of like works of fiction that we're reading, watching, all these things. I love the movies. I love how you're excited about Fast and Furious because it really
Yeah.
speaks to you. And I had obviously many of these creations that I love. Specifically, the inspirations for these were things like Fables, The Wolf Among Us, American Gods,
Mhm.
all these things of
Yeah.
like, we're living here, but we feel like there's something more in this world. But I wanted also to create something that isn't really bogged down with tons of dice and tons of rules. Dice is one thing, dice is fun, but like rules
Mhm.
is also can really sometimes slow the game. And I really wanted people to sit around and tell a story that looks like those movies, that looks like those TV shows, and feels like it. And that required something very flexible, but
Mhm.
also very very tight. Like some people really like what do you call games where you don't have any like rules, like diceless and stuff like
Yeah.
that?
Mhm. Mhm.
Free form stuff. It's a lot of fun, but I always wanted to have some kind of framework, so that was the
Right.
inspiration for that. Um, and of course, I mean, we're role players. We're half of the time I'm in another world, so I always feel like there's like this legendary world and ordinary world, and what happened if they actually were in the same place here in the life that we live now. And yeah, that
Mhm.
was kind of the inspiration for it.
I love it. When you were writing the game, and this is a question that we got from our Discord in advance, and when you were writing it, were there little like detail, like or Easter eggs or like personal things that you embedded like in the game that you are particularly excited, but like you're like, then this is a little bit of like a meat, like in the game.
That's a great question. First of all, I got to pick all the legends. So even though I made a point, I made a point of like, doing a very kind of like, I learned a lot. I love
Hmm.
legends. So, doing something very diverse and going after every culture that I could find and consulting a lot of people about it. I did, of course, pick out my favorite legends, stuff like that, and put them in there. Um, so I really like this character of Lily Chow and Iron Hans, this girl that can wear a green energy giant as armor. And
So cool.
that's like Iron Hans is like this German legend. But the characters, and it's probably going to be the character that I'm going to make today, the character that I always love and I always insert, and Iron Hans is one example for that, is the Green Man. Like it's in almost in every culture there is this individual wearing green, and they're always like a guide to the other world or something like that.
Hmm.
So it's everything's like it's definitely in European cultures, but it also exists in Native American and exists in Islam. There is like the green one, and it's really amazing that it's like so cross cultural. So that was kind of for me the Easter egg that I put everywhere. I put that green character everywhere.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
that
so
rocks.
fun.
I don't know that there's anything else. I probably did. You know, the weirdest thing is after you create something and you move on to creating other things, people
Yeah.
come back to you and they remind you the stuff that you put there. So it's like there are people on our Discord that are, they're really following this character, Lily Chow, because
Mhm.
there's like so many characters in the universe that are connected to it. She's the daughter of like this super powerful someone. She's running away from him. And people are coming to me and they're like, what's going to happen with Lily Chow? Who's her mother? Like, and I'm like, wait, didn't we reveal that? No, who really is her mother? And we
You're
want
like,
to
crap.
know. And is she connected to this other character and they're whatever. So it's really cool that you have people that are actually listening to all the
Right.
crap that you wrote.
I feel like that's the great challenge of like role playing and creation. It's like, oh crap, I did say that. Oh no. Or like it's in your mind, it was like this footnote thing that you kind of glossed over, but somebody's like written like a Wikipedia page about it now,
I
and you're like,
know.
oh no.
I
Like
know.
I have to explain this thing that I said as a throwaway. Okay, well, here we go.
It's true, but it's beautiful because remembering, the way I was when I wrote it, I was really into it, and I'm still into it. And
Mhm.
it's almost like someone's helping you, I don't know, come back to this self that you had back
Right.
then. It's really
Right.
cool. I really appreciate the community. I love that part of creating.
This is awesome. I feel like we're a good point to kind of jump into the more long form character creation, which I'm very excited about.
Cool.
Um, so we
Yeah.
can go ahead and transition to that. Keegan's gonna have the character sheet up and is gonna kind of fill it out for us, which is phenomenal. Thank you, Keegan.
Thank
Um,
you.
so let's. I guess it's is the starting point the same. You pick a legend and go from there.
Yeah, you pick a legend, you go from there. You pick a legend, which is called your mythos. Which I didn't say it before. And you pick your ordinary side, which is called your logos. So those purple ones are mythos. Those red ones are logos. And I guess for this one, I'm gonna go with my favorite green man, and this is my handle in many internet places. Kuroi McDara, who's like the Irish green man. And so I lived a couple of years in Ireland. I'm in love with that place. And I was really influenced by the mythology there. And this character is this kind of a witch king that lives in, a very remote part of Ireland. And he almost is never around in the stories until he shows up and completely, changes the game. So he's like this distant character, witch king character, and he's the influence for the Green Knight. So Tolkien had this character in Arthurian legend. There is this character. Tolkien wrote a book about it. And so he's kind of a green witch knight, spell sword, whatever you want.
Okay.
Always mysterious, always like out of the picture until he shows up, and then he's kind of very, very powerful. So the question with City of Mist is, what's going to be the logos for that character? What does
Mm-hmm.
a character like that look like in our city, in a modern day
Mm-hmm.
life? So that's
Right.
tricky. One of the things we kind of teach in one of our expansions is that you always want to twist it a little bit, right? You don't want to make a thief in the story a thief in reality. Like your character was good.
Right.
They
Right.
had the commoner thief or the Dominic mythos,
You need
but
that tension between the two,
right,
right? Like they're pulling in different directions.
exactly. Like you have the normal and you want to give it a twist, but at the same time you want to have some links between so for example, Goldilocks in our universe is actually a burglar. And one of her powers is that she can make things too hot, too cold, too small, too big,
Amazing.
and she can really mess up the police with that. So this guy, this is really the starting point. We won't be able to go very much further, but I'd say, let me think about what kind of person they can be in the city. Like a person that's kind of a little bit like a recluse or
Okay.
Trying to think of the city. So I want to say like I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the subway attendant, you know, the guys that are like in the middle of the
Yes.
night, there is that guy.
Yeah, right. Who's just like there, but never there when you're like looking for one. But like if you were just going about your business, like they would be there and you just kind of pass them without noticing.
Yeah, so I think we'll take that character. We'll just go with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, this is
So
very good.
next thing I'll do with this character is I'm going to ask myself what you did. Um, how many things do I want? You know, do I want to do it borderline 2 and 2? Do I want to make them more of a ordinary person and just starting to discover their powers, or do I want to make them super powerful? I think best thing to do is 2 and 2 so that we can explore a little bit of both of these things. And then, you know, you can always change that. You can always decide, oh no, I really want that extra logos theme, so I'm going to drop one mythos and do that.
And
so
just real fast, where is this on the character sheet?
Where's the what?
You were saying we're going 2 and 2. Where is that on the character sheet?
Right. So on the form fillable character sheet, we don't have colors for them there because you could actually shift them. You can't fix the colors. So because we don't know how many colors you're going to choose in advance, so they're all gray. So we put it at I think you can just write it at the top. You write the type of theme, and we're going to get to that, and that indicates which theme it is.
Okay.
I'm just kind of playing with the
line. Down on that second page, yeah.
Cards, yeah. So perfect. On the PDF one, and you just we're going to decide what to do and which ones.
Yeah, no worries.
Wonder if the box lists this. Yeah, this is the best thing to do. So I have 7. We have 7 logos and 7 mythos themes. The mythos themes are types of powers. So we have adaptation, which is like all the powers that change themselves in order to adapt to something. Bastion is defensive powers. Divination is informational powers. Expression is anything that you shoot out from yourself, whether it's, you know, radiance or darkness or, I don't know, anything. Mobility is movement. Relic is a magical item, and subversion is everything to do with like stealth and deception. For this character, he's like a very powerful witch king. He's a so I'm trying to think what are the things that I would like to give them the most. Yeah, probably the first thing I would go with here is Bastion, because he's kind of really tough. It's like it's not very easy to kill this character. So that's one thing I might go with. And another thing I could go with is his magic. So that would be adaptation. So I think we'll go with that. So I'm just going to go to the theme books. The way that the custom stuff goes is you choose your theme books, but then they ask you questions, and the answers you give are the tags. So it's not just choosing from a list of items. Okay. You're choosing from you're answering a question. So yeah, let's start with this guy. I'm just looking for where I put the theme book stuff. Here we go. So adaptation is the first one. It's the one that talks about any kind of power set that can change. My concept for this power set is that this guy is able to he's versed in magic. So he's able to cast all kinds of different spells. In City of Mist, there is something called a broad tag. Like if your tag is like there's a broad and there's a very broad. Very broad is not allowed. Like something like so good at everything, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm the best one that ever was.
Exactly. I'm the best one that ever was. That's too broad. There is a broad tag, which means that you have a tag that can be used in so many situations. We need to kind of limit that so you can have only one broad tag.
Okay.
The other thing that you can do with the very broad tags, you can make them become broad tags by saying every time you roll this using this tag, you have to roll one move to create that creates other tags and then use those tags. Give you an example. If you're a spellcaster and you can cast any spell whenever you want, that's fine. That's cool. You can have that. You have a spellcaster tag, but you can't just use that tag for any roll. You have to make a special roll to create the spell that you want to make, like find it in your spell
Okay.
book, come up with it, weave it, and then
Right.
use it. So this is our way to, because we're just like a super narrative game, to kind of limit
Right.
your totally wildness.
Right. Right. Give that
Wild.
framework so it's not just people like nuking their way through everything where it's like I cast a spell that immediately kills the bad guy. Like, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, so this is just very relevant when you're trying to make a spellcaster in City of Mist. You need to kind of
Uh-huh.
either limit yourself what kind of spells you're making, or or you at least have to take on that extra step.
Right.
So he's definitely a spellcaster. So I'm just going to go and hit those power tag questions and see what kind of tags I'm going to grab from that. What mythos power allows you to respond differently to every situation? So I'm going to say about this guy that it's definitely spellcasting, but I'm going to want to phrase it in a way that's, interesting for me as a player, not just like spellcasting. I don't want to say something like, kind of like something to do with the other world, like pull the threads of the other world.
Ooh, I
And
like that.
and I'm going to talk to my MC and say to them, okay, like, this is how I spellcast. Like, I can pull the threads of the other world and it affects this world. And my MC is going to say to me, wow, that's a really very broad tag. So you're going to have to do that extra roll every time you make it.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of the type of magic this guy has. But let's see what the other questions can narrow it down a little bit. What narrow group of effects within your mythos domain have you mastered? Okay, so they're asking me, like, can you narrow it down for us a little bit? Great. You can pull the threads of the other world. What can you do with it, like, more concretely? And I'm going to say, that I can take on a spirit form, because, probably part of the reason why, or a shadow form or something like that. Probably one of the reasons that people can't really kill him is that he can just, phase or something like that. This is a kind of a mysterious character, so I'm kind of making it up as I go along.
Right.
Let's see. There isn't a lot about them in Legend. What specific manifestation of your mythos is your favorite? Cool. I'm going to skip that because it's not really coming to me. What circumstances enhance your ability to adapt? That could be interesting. And I'm going to answer that. I'm going to say places of power. This character, when he's like near places of power, he's going to get +1 to his stuff.
Yeah.
So this is like a real, the real magical end of things. Let's go to that's my 3 tags. So I'm done.
Okay.
I'm going to go to weakness tag questions, and they're going to ask me, what are your powers of adaptivity dependent on? So that's interesting.
Okay.
What results are harder for your mythos to achieve? What hinders your mythos or limits its possibilities? And what bad habits did you pick up due to your adaptive powers? I like that one.
That question's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. So they say about this this character, Kuroi, that he's never blooded his sword in Ireland, never had a meal in Ireland, and never whatever. Like, he doesn't do anything. And I was like, oh, you live there, man. How do you manage it? So I feel like he's, he is kind of I want to say that he has a tag like forgot what it's like to be human.
Yes. This is very good. Yes.
Because like he's, okay, so you're this amazing witch king. You live in a tower at the end of the world. You barely show up. You're not here. Do you even know like what the rest of us are dealing with?
Right.
And
Right.
and the more that this city character is going to lean into that, the more like,
Right.
I don't want to say heartless, but detached she's going to become.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. So the only thing I'm left here with is the mystery. I got some suggestions here in the theme book, like philosophical questions about the nature of your power, seeking something that is greater than your powers, fears of losing touch with your original nature. This is for shapeshifter, things like that.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that he's going to, um, yeah, he's probably going to have a question about, once, do you guys have any ideas? Like maybe something from the other world,
Ooh.
something like his.
I mean, because like the whole idea is that he can manipulate like the threads of the other world and like um I feel like it's like the mystery is how far will you go maybe? Like if he's like losing his humanity and all that stuff, the question being like how far is too far for this person?
Yeah, I like that. I think that could be really good for him. Yeah, how far is too far? How far will, or how far can I push the other world, or how far can
Yeah.
I exploit the other world? Like, is someone gonna come at me from there at some point, maybe? So yeah, kind of like how far can I go? I think is a good mystery.
Awesome.
So what I want to do, like just to mix it up a bit, I want to go over to the logo side and see what kind of ordinary things I could give to him, because right now this character is super legendary for me, and I want to see, okay,
Yeah.
who is this subway person? What's their
Mhm.
story? So in the logo side, there are defining event. If you have anything in your history that really kind of left its mark on you,
Mhm.
defining relationship. If you have a character that is like really a key supporting character that you have to have with you, or is important to you. Mission is if they have some kind of goal they want to achieve. Personality is if their personality is really key. Possessions, routine, and training. And to me, the first thing I want to go to is routine, because I want to kind of like flesh out the subway attendant guy and what's his life like and what does he get out of being that. So, like, what kind of tags he gets out of that. So, I'm going to go down to the routine theme book, and then I'm going to ask some questions.
Perfect.
Page 130, Keegan.
Yep, I just got there.
Cool. So, under power tag questions, I have to answer the first question. So, I'm going to say, what do you do with your time? And this is tricky because I have to make it something useful. Remember the question that we had from the audience before? It's like I could just say I
Mhm.
hang around, or I just like look at people. And that's fine. That you could make that useful somehow, but you have to make sure you know what it's how it's useful.
Right.
So I'm going to say that I'm gonna call it like train orchestrator, because
Okay.
I want it
Okay.
to be this kind of secretly like this mastermind, but he's just this
Hmm.
guy that's there. You don't know that he's actually timing all this stuff, or he's
Right.
thinking about that. So whenever my character is going to try and orchestrate multiple things to happen at the same time, I'm going to get a +1 for it.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I took that thing and I made it my useful thing. Another thing I was thinking about is like people watching. Let's
Right.
say that I am that type that is just standing there and not actually involved
Hmm.
in running the trains. Um,
Hmm.
then I can read people very well, because
Right.
all I do is
Just
watch.
watch people.
And I
Hmm.
like that tag and I want it. So I'm just going to look at some other question here that could be plugged into. For example, question E, what did you learn on your daily activities? And I'm going to answer people watching. So now I can really, like, if I'm standing aside and I'm not a part of a conversation or interaction, I can get a
Hmm.
read on someone and get a +1 for that.
Right. Right.
But as the MC, I would not let this character do people watching while they're inside of a conversation. They kind of
Right.
have to be observing.
Right. It's up to the MC to kind of like mediate how far these things go. Uh
Yeah,
but making sure when you're creating the character, you're actually being thoughtful about uh how it's applicable, right?
exactly. Yeah. And it's something that we describe in the way the player's guide kind of walks you through the session zero. We talk about how to talk to your players and your MC about what each tag
Hmm.
means so that you don't have to do it when you're playing.
Right.
So you actually don't spend a lot of time in the game debating these things. It's
Hmm.
not a major part of the game, but
Right.
if you kind of prepare for it.
Hmm.
Just going to pick up a random question. Question J, what brings you to the same place every day? And I'm going to say, yeah, like I'm going to say there's a guy that he's into, and he's
Oh, I
watching
love it.
it. So he's going,
Ugh.
like, what are we going to call him? Someone that takes the train at the same time. It's a little creepy, it's a little stalky, but he's not doing
You
anything.
can
He's just
You can have a
hopeless
crush. It's
romantic or
fine.
you
something
can
like
have a crush,
that.
right? It's okay. It's okay to admire from a distance. And maybe they'll talk to them. Maybe they'll turn later into a defining relationship theme because they will get a bigger place in the campaign.
Hmm.
But let's call this guy. You guys have names? I'm thinking of someone. So I'm already thinking mythology, right? I'm already
Okay.
thinking, who was this guy into in the mythology? So who did he have like a
Oh,
love-hate relationship? And that's
right.
another Irish, very famous, probably the most famous Irish character for mythology. He's Cuchulainn, is like a charioteer guy.
Hmm.
And let's just call this guy Colin,
I
right?
love it.
So
Oh,
there is a
I'm already
Colin in the
excited.
story that he's crushing over, and maybe the Colin is the legend of Cuchulainn, and maybe he's just an
Right.
ordinary guy. But
Right.
what characters do in this game, in this setting, is that they subconsciously put people in the roles of their legend, and then
Hmm.
it's a reenactment in their life.
Right. Oh, it's so cute. I love it.
So we have Corey. Okay. Sorry, Colin. So we have Colin. We have so I need a weakness tag. Let's see. At the end of the day, what are you left with? So this is a noir. This is a noir setting, so it's kind of sad and like melancholic is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
There is a
Right.
touch of it. So if you have a routine, what you're left with at the end of the day is something kind of sad in these type of stories.
Hmm.
We also have what are the mundane limits or downsides of your routine? That's okay. Who or what can interfere with your routine? And what happens when you are thrown out of your routine? And actually, it's either A or D for me. I feel like he doesn't like to leave that observer
Right.
place. So I think I might go
Hmm.
with D. What happens when you're thrown out of your routine? And I think um, I think I'm going to say something like anxiety or even a panic attack. Like this guy does not like to be removed. And now we're seeing this character is starting to feel more human, where before we
Yeah.
were all about like powers and stuff. And right now it's
Yeah.
like, okay, this is
He's out of his
actually,
element.
yeah. So I think something like that. Um, Maybe, social anxiety or something like that would be good. Yeah. So we already have half the character. Um,
Awesome. This is going really great. I've got like I know we're getting close to an hour, and we're gonna take a quick break. But before we do, I wanted to ask a question. When you are playing like City of Mist or other games, like obviously we were building like a spellcaster kind of character. Is that something that you typically go for, or is there a particular like trope of character that you're like, yeah, that's me, that's the one I'm playing?
Yeah, I totally love the spellcasters for sure. I just love the versatility, the ability to, adapt to different situations. And usually I would go for a character with some kind of personality. Like this guy is a little like more charisma. I would go for that than this
Mhm.
guy. Relatively
Mhm.
kind of quiet for the characters that I like to do, just because I'm the kind of player that likes to be in the conversation.
Mhm.
Um, and I usually go for detectives because I like
Ooh.
cracking the case, trying to understand what's
Yeah.
going on. Yeah. What kind of characters do you go for?
I mean, I'm all over the place. Like I feel like it's I like to play the character that's going to push the most buttons, whatever that means for that particular game.
Nice.
Like it just depends. Like is it like the like muscle of just like I'm just going to bumble into the situation? Is it the strategic person? I don't know. Like it's who's going to push the most buttons at this table? That's who I want to be.
Cool.
I don't know, Keegan, I feel like what character tropes do you vibe for? I feel like I have some guesses, but I'm not
It's like a
sure.
chaotic dumbass every time I play. There's not a question. They're all self-inserts.
This is
Cool.
wonderful. Awesome. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pause here so we can all take a break, refill our water, grab some snacks, uh, all of those things. Chat, please also go stretch. We'll be like 5 or 10 minutes, and post any questions that you have. And when we come back, we're gonna finish up this character, and I'm really excited for it. We'll be back in a little bit.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Bye.
And we're back.
Woohoo!
Hello.
All right, let's jump right back into it. So we've got part of the mythos, part of the logos. Where do
Yes.
we've got our very cool green witch king subway attendant who's in love with a man named Colin. I'm
Yes.
obsessed. Where do we go from here? I need to
Where do
know.
we go from here? So actually, one of the things that I thought about during the break is that maybe people who don't know the game don't know how tags are kind of even become relevant. So it'd
Uh-huh.
be really cool if I could really quickly talk about the moves.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
So we said I dropped a move sheet there. You can get all of this stuff on our website, but
I have it.
Keegan, maybe you can show them that.
Yep, it's up right now.
So just the first page of it, the players' moves. So the way, like I said, these tags you get a +1 when they're relevant, -1 when a weakness tag is relevant, and you add it to a 2d6 roll. It's a little bit like Powered by the Apocalypse. I mean, it is Powered by the Apocalypse, but the tags are totally different.
Right.
And you get a modifier and you roll it, and there are all kinds of like statuses that bring your modifier up and down. But the whole idea is that it all boils down into 8 different types of actions. Convince, when you try to convince someone. Change the game is really the most broadest one. It allows you to create new tags. This is the one I said you had to do if you had a very broad tag.
Mm-hmm.
Face danger is when you get hit by a status, you can reduce it, so it's a reflexive defensive one. Go toe to toe is when you're in a kind of a competition. Hit with all you've got is when you got a moment and you can really slam them with an attack. Investigate is to discover new things. Sneak around is to be sneaky, and take the risk is when you're doing something stupid or dangerous. And the thing is that they are not limited to a specific type of action. So if I want to find out something about someone from a distance using my people
Mm-hmm.
watching, I'm going to roll for investigate. But if
Mm-hmm.
someone wants to hack a system and get in there
Mm-hmm.
and get information, they're also going to roll for investigate. And if someone is interrogating a witness, also investigate, or crime scene else. So it's really just a catch-all for finding
Mm-hmm.
out stuff. And then you
Right.
have a catch-all for, and these moves allow the tags to be really, whatever you want them to be, but then it all
Mm-hmm.
boils down into very specific actions.
Right.
So
We had a
yeah,
question just really quick. We had a question earlier in chat, where someone was curious how the MC responds to it, like some of these moves, particularly like an attack. Like how does that kind of break down from the MC side?
right.
So,
So
for
because
example, yeah,
yeah,
you got
go
it.
ahead.
You're good. You're good.
So I'm just thinking that the question is coming from um, like this is a Powered by the Apocalypse game, so
Hmm.
the MC never rolls anything. It's always
Hmm.
like setup and consequences, setup and consequences. The MC says, okay, the guy pulls out a gun on you, and then you
Hmm.
get to make a move. If you make the move and you succeed and you do something and you take control of the situation, great. If you don't,
Hmm.
consequence. You get the status. They never roll. You don't roll for the villains. The villains are written in totally different ways from the way you're seeing a character is built, or the
Hmm.
adversaries rather, not the villains, not only the villains. So yeah, do you think that was a question?
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
think that is, right. I think one of the hard things about really narrative games, or because they're so different than like what we're used to of like, I roll to hit, do I hit? When you take that away, people's like I know for myself, like, so did I hit? Like there isn't that question. It's hard to kind of flip that. And like how do these moves activate? How do the consequences chime in? It can be
Yeah.
a difficult mind shift.
Yeah, it's definitely a switch. With this is kind of like where we started our YouTube channel, which has
Hmm.
like dozens of videos about that stuff to like make that switch. Because once you do, you get like these super cinematic role-playing game
Yes.
sessions, which is really awesome.
Hmm.
Because you don't have to wait now for everyone to roll and for the MC, the GM, or the DM to roll for every single monster
Right.
on the board.
Right.
But yeah, it's definitely a switch that you need to make. And when you want to attack as a spell, or with a gun, or with a punch, or with words, you're always
Hmm.
going to roll hit with all you've got. So it's a kind of a switch to make, like to use it almost more as a language than just like a set of rigid rules.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay,
Awesome.
so going back to my character, I have like people watching. I'm going to use that with investigate. I have what else did I get from the? Oh, I have Colin. So Colin is just
Hmm.
like anything I do with Colin is going to get a +1. If I try to
Hmm.
convince Colin, I'm going to get a +1. If I'm going to hit someone because they hurt Colin, I'm going to get a +1. So this is kind
Hmm.
of a versatile
Right.
tag. Um, what else can I do? So I got things like train orchestrator. So if I want to
Mhm.
make a plan and give myself a status of well prepared, or if I want to figure out someone else's plan, I'm going to use
Mhm.
that with investigate. So this is how the tags can be used, more or less.
Right. Right.
So my character is kind of quiet and has some magic, but is more like leaning to like a spirit ghost persona,
Right.
non present, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And yeah, so let's see what else we're gonna grab for them. So going back to my mythos, yeah, I feel like I want to make this character a little bit more concrete when he wants to be.
Okay.
Um, like the character in the mythos is a badass. Like he
Hmm.
wipes the floor with like Ireland's greatest hero with like one motion of his hand. So I don't think I can reach that level just starting out as a character, but I could
Hmm.
definitely allude to that. So I'm going to grab expression. Expression is
Okay.
usually for attacking, fighting, influencing the world around you. Let's see what I'm going to get an expression. So what I want to give him here, the concept for the expression mythos is a kind of I think I want to give him a kind of a green ghost sword or something like that.
Ooh, very
Uh,
cool. Very
that he
cool.
can summon when you really tick him off. So he's all spirity in that, and then he
Hmm.
just like really lays into you. So let's go to expression. One other way I could do it was create it as a relic, but that would really mean that I have a physical
Item.
item, and I just want it to be like a more like a ghost sword thing. If I can ever
Hmm.
find expression, there it is. Okay, so I'm gonna go for questions. What is the most common way you use your mythos to affect the world? And I'm going to say, um, I'm just gonna say summon ghost sword. That's gonna be
Hmm.
straightforward. Whenever I do that, I could attack with it. It just means what it
Mm-hmm.
means. And let's see what other
Gotcha.
things. What useful reverse effect can you exert? I mean, I could get a power to cancel other people's summons. Maybe later I'll pick it up with some XP. Right now, I think I need more core stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What useful quality does your main effect have? Okay. What conditions or situations enhance your mythos expression? No, I'm just kind of skipping over the stuff that doesn't really come to me.
Right.
Against what targets are your expression powers more effective? Okay,
Ooh.
so I want to say that, maybe there is some kind of a subset of creatures, um, or even a pretty wide one. Like I could say legendary, like legendary beings. Okay, so when I try
Mm-hmm.
to hit the policeman with that, I get a +1. But when I try to hit another mythos with it, I get a +2. One for my summon ghost sword, and another one for um,
Okay. Yeah,
something
I'm
along the
tracking.
lines of, yeah, like cutting, or what am I going to
Right.
call it? Like
Uh, I mean, you could do like Legend Slayer of some or something like
yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
Like you're more effective against uh,
yeah.
different mythos.
Let's do that. Legend Slayer. Yeah, totally. Let's see what other stuff we have. What special variants or specific uses of your mythos' main form or expression have you mastered? Um, I like H. What trick shot or special maneuvers can you do with your expression? I'm gonna say
Ooh,
a whirlwind, kind of whirlwind strike.
very good. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so this case, if I am swarmed by mythical creatures and I try to use hit with all you've got against a group, which you can do,
Right.
I'm going to get a +3 because I'm going to invoke all three of those tags.
Gotcha.
So
This
I'm
is
really
very
good at being against everyone, but when
right.
it's me against like a very real danger, um,
Right. That's when the anxiety weakness tag like kicks in.
it's like,
Like I love
oh,
the visual character that's like so much larger than life and like massive, but like shrink down to like this guy that just kind of lurks on a platform. I think that's beautiful. I love it so much. We've
yeah.
got a question from chat. I want to ask really quick. When building a character, do you prefer going for that specialist or more well-rounded kind of vibe?
I'm a real power gamer. Like it's funny that a person that created like a narrative game, I really try to get both, even though a good system would prevent you from doing that.
No, I'm
Uh,
here for it. I think
so,
it's great.
but usually I would go for I would actually, what I always end up doing is getting something in the middle. Like I will try to be reasonably well rounded with two things that I'm kind of not the best at, but
Pretty
better at.
Hmm.
Pretty good. And
Hmm.
it's going to that it's going to be usually some kind of an attack because I love being able to deal damage. So in my Star Wars games, I'm always going to have some kind of blaster, skill
Love
with
it.
it.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but I try to be a little bit good at some of the things. Of course, you can't, but it's just I'm one of those power gamers that really have a hard time with
Mhm.
letting go of
Right.
that ability. You can even see it
100%.
here. I was like, he was going towards the quiet, introspective guy. And I was like, no,
Uh-huh.
I gotta get a weapon, and
He needs a
I got,
powerful
No,
sword.
no, he
he's gonna
really
be
needs it.
the strongest boy. No, I love it though. But and I what I really appreciate about this system is you can and this is why I think we play role-playing games in general, is you do want to feel overpowered. You do want to feel like big and tough and like really like intense. And what I really appreciate about this game and the weakness tags is it does rein you in. It does kind of pull you back a bit, but you can get weird with it. You can go be bigger, larger than life, which again, I think is why we play these games, right? Like
Totally,
you want to be a cool elf that can cast all of the things and like just
you
like
do.
be in control of this environment 100%. Like
Yeah, totally.
I don't want to play. I don't want to play the Sarah that gets stuck in traffic and like can't do anything about it. Like that's not interesting to me.
I know, totally. Yeah, that's why we play. And at the same time, we really need those limitations because otherwise it just becomes like me sitting in with a piece of paper and writing cool things about me. And how long
Yes.
is that going to be interesting? Like for
Yeah. I
5
think
minutes.
like I can't remember. It might have been we might have talked to Ray about it, but TTRPGs like and systems, they're framing a conversation, right? It's ways that we can talk back and forth in a common language, so to
Yeah,
speak, right?
yeah, absolutely.
And really like make sure that we're all having the same conversation. Because if you want to just be a badass, like to your point, just write a story about you being a badass,
Yeah, exactly.
100%. But if you want to like play with those concepts and like live in a different space, here's a conversation starter on how you can do that and how you can shape that.
Absolutely. And you want to also, we don't know that we want to sometimes, but we want the challenge. We want the
Yes.
sense of accomplishment that comes from
Mhm.
overcoming something that is hard. But we want
Right.
to do it looking like totally badass. And that's
Being
the
the
whole
coolest
thing.
one.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So the thing about it, we took it so much to the max with City of Mist because there is a move called Stop Holding Back. It's a special move where you can pretty much achieve anything that you
Hmm.
want if you make a sacrifice that is equal to that.
Okay.
So, players can say, "Okay, this is my time. This is my moment. I'm going to sacrifice one of my themes in order to break this barrier, pin down this villain, release them from the spell, do something completely, and then you don't use tags at all. It's just a
Hmm.
cinematic moment where you can do that. But you have to sacrifice something. It's not just for free. Sometimes there is like a level where you can even sacrifice your character's life in order to achieve something on a campaign level.
Hmm.
But we really want to put the power in the hands of the players because I discovered as an MC that it's a lot more fun to MC when you don't know what's going to happen and when the players surprise you. I mean, it's also very scary,
Oh, no,
but
it's terrifying. It's like one of the most thrilling things of like, I have an idea of what could happen, but they could just not care about this at all. And like
nope.
that's the exciting part is you just don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, you don't know, you really don't. And it's this is a great thing about Vincent D. Baker, the person who created Apocalypse World and Powered by the Apocalypse. Like he coined all of these ideas, and one of them was play to find out.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a huge moment I think in the role playing games because up until then it was very very not maybe up until then, but he brought it out that idea that you can just have fun with it and you don't have to know what's going to happen as the GM. And
Hmm.
for me, it was like a I don't know like a 180. Like I used
Hmm.
to write very scripted stuff before, and after that, it was just like wow, I can let other people partake in the creation of a story. How mind blowing! And
It
this
it
became it.
really is changing though. Like it's that philosophical change of like from like the MC or game master side of like I have to have every little possibility planned out in my brain and like everything to know. Once you give that up and just lean into the play to find out, fuck around, find out, let's just see what
Totally.
happens, kicking it back to these really cool player characters that like everybody's built and finding the story in between, it completely changes like
Yeah.
and honestly, like the ability to play to find out is how I judge systems now. Like if the system gets in the way of me playing to find out, if I have to like have all that stuff set up, I'm like, I don't really care about this
I know,
game.
I know, I know. You're totally right. You're totally. I'm there. I'm there for it. And our games are even becoming more and more and more and more of that. Like I'm
Hmm.
just gonna drop like a little teaser bomb there. Our next games may not even have books. Like you don't have to read through a book to play them, and it's a
Oh wow.
totally full blown role playing game the way you know it. No
Hmm.
books. So we're just really
Love it.
trying to take it to the next level. And I love books and everything, but it's also like, really, am I going to read all of this right now?
Hmm.
So we'll see.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Um, so moving on, we're to the weakness tag
Yeah.
of this section.
So we got to find a weakness tag for the sword. Let's see what do we have. What situations or conditions weaken or suppress your mythos expression? Okay. What targets are immune or resistant to your mythos expression? Okay. Like if I take this for things that are mundane, not only am I going to be less effective, I'm going to be even less effective. Like I'm going to get a minus when I try to attack them. Let's see. I don't like getting minuses like that.
Get him out of here.
With
we're a cool guy.
Okay, so back to being a power gamer. I got you.
Totally back to being a power gamer. What happens when you lose control over your mythos expression? This could be cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
This could be cool.
Yeah.
So, and then what are the repercussions of bringing your mythos into the
really
world?
like that one too. I really like that one too.
So it's a ghost sword. You bring it into the world. What's going to happen if you lose control, or the fact that you bring it over? But it has to be a something that hinders. Like, let me think of that for a second. If you guys have ideas, I'm open to it.
Well, I'll say words at you, and you tell me if it sparks anything. Because your guys, like, I keep going back to the like you're pulling threads of the other world, right? Like, what if like bringing your sword or manifesting this here like has those unintended consequences of pulling threads too hard, or like you know what I mean? Like you're like really you're this larger than life being that's like this mythos slayer, but like you're entering like the real world. What consequences does it have on that other side of like almost like tearing a hole or like taking something from there that like should really stay there kind of a thing?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I like that. So something like otherworld rupture or rift or something like that. Or trace, and you know the MC can really play with that. Then, like, imagine there's a detective after you, and they're kind of sensitive to the legendary, and they can see those tears in the other world. Yeah, totally works. And specifically, expression. If you scroll down to page 97, it has all of these enhancements that are all about what you just said. So, like, ruptured rift
very cool. Yeah,
is an ability that you can burn a tag or something like that. For it's contain the surge, ripples, all of these things on fire are abilities that kind of enhance that direction. So yeah, let's do that. So I need another mystery here that's specifically related to my sword. And on this theme book, I also have some suggestions. Doubts about your powers, effects on the world, and how to best use it. Fears about what wielding such powers might do to you. Questions about the identity of your sworn enemies and how to fight them. Yeah, so I want to say our other question was how far we can go. And I think there will be a question here of I think this person has an issue with hurting other people. Like, yeah, they can summon a huge big sword, and you know maybe that's why they're holding back against the mundane, because he's really in the real world they're quite timid.
It adds that tension, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I want to say something to do with violence, something to do with
could it be can I protect the ones I care about from this? Like, you know what I mean? Like from this particular thing.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Like, just like that. Yeah, I mean, can I protect the ones I care about from this, from the other world, from whatever is on the other side? And you know that's connected to the sword. The sword's supposed to help you protect them, but at the same time the sword can hurt them, and you know
it's got this wide area of effect. It's larger than life.
Yeah, it's destructive. Yeah, so he's a little questioning what's going on, and the MC is going to sprinkle events that you know could trigger that. Like if I roll 6 or less in a roll, that's a hard move, which means that the MC can come up with any kind of mess that comes up. It doesn't have to be, oh, you failed the attack. It could be you succeeded and your swing is so hard that you just hit one of the posts, the pillars, and on the platform, big mess, the whole station's about to collapse into itself. What do you do?
Yes.
Okay, so that's that. And now I realize that we didn't choose an identity for the routine. So going back to the theme about being a subway attendant, then we didn't choose one, and there are some options there under routine on page 131. What kind of identity I could have for that. So
Oh,
how do you
yeah.
feel about your routine? Why do you hold on to your routine? What you need to believe in order to carry out your routine. So I want to say they chose this job for a reason. It's like kind of like the one thing that they can do without being in very direct interaction with people, maybe. Well, that's the way we imagine it. It's probably in reality, it's probably something you interact with people all the time.
Maybe, but I feel like it's like that again, like you're like in a place where it's like a crowd, so it's easy to kind of melt in and like not be the center of attention. You're helpful to like people, but like it's not like a very loud kind of thing. To me, it
Yeah.
feels it's very easy to kind of fade into the background.
Yeah. And it's usually like passing interactions. There's no
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
this is how
Deep, vulnerable conversations, right?
exactly. So I think that I want to say something like this job makes me feel safe, or
Ooh. Or
I
in control, maybe
in
like
control. Yeah, like being in the subway makes me feel, you know,
everything's scheduled, right? Trains arrive on it's predictable. The trains come at this time, these things happen at this time. There's not really a lot of variable in my day to day. It's easy to be consistent.
yeah, I like that. So something kind of controlled.
I love
Okay, so
Gosh,
last
I
thing,
really like this character already.
yeah, he's really cool. So now we have to give him a kind of another flavor. Mm, with logos, I think. So the nice thing about people always say, "Oh, why shouldn't I just take as many, legendary things as I can and be the most powered?" So,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, there are two answers to that. One is that usually the thing that gives flavor to the character is actually the logos ordinary themes.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, this game is designed so that there is a thing, we call it narrative power. Yes, I have a sword that is super powerful, but it's still only going to give me +1, +2. And
Mm-hmm.
if a person has a kitchen knife in their theme, the ordinary
Mm-hmm.
theme, that still
Mm-hmm.
gives you a +1. So it's like Frodo and Gandalf. Who's more important, the super
Right.
powerful one or the one that has that ordinary
Right.
strength to go and endure something?
Oh, I love it.
So even if you're like super, super depowered, you can still have huge impact on the game
Mm-hmm.
and on the story. So let's see. What does this guy need? What do you guys think? We got defining event, defining relationship, mission, personality, possessions, and training.
I sort of like defining event. I think it's fun. I think it provides something the rest of it. I think it like
Yeah.
answers a question about the character.
Yeah, totally. And I was thinking earlier, maybe there's a reason why he ended up in this job, trying to be underground, trying not to be found, trying not to come into a lot of interaction, trying to control what's happening. So maybe something happened in the past. So let's pull up the defining event.
I am there. It's on 110.
Yeah, cool, got it. And then there's kind of, if you can't think of it, there's a couple of examples. So we have a thundering realization, loss of a loved one, valued possession or social standing, an accident, a rise to greatness, 15 minutes of fame, or enlightenment. So I'm going to choose enlightenment because it's me, and that's the thing that I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
let's do
most
it.
interested in.
That's amazing.
I'm totally like into spirituality, things like that, like and seeking like a truth beyond what is visible, which is what this game is all about. So I want to say like not exactly enlightenment, but he had like a mystical experience that started his powers, and that's going to kind of gel things together. But I also want it to be a kind of chaotic event, like he kind of bridged between this world and the other world, and all hell broke loose
Yes.
for
Yeah.
a moment. And that's how it all started. That's why he
Right.
wants to stay like quiet and like
And
in
he
his
was
own
like,
corner.
no,
Yeah,
absolutely not. I'm out.
exactly. Nope, big nope, going underground, literally. So let's see what happened there. Let's see what this can give it. What kind of strong emotion did your defining event leave you with? What kind of strong emotion did your define? So remember, it has to be something useful. So I
Right.
want to say that it is a kind of maybe we'll play on that control thing that you said. It's like
Yeah.
Well, let me think about it.
I feel like there's so many. What I love about these questions is there's so many. First of all, very good work on these questions. Like
Thank
as
you.
we've been reading through all of these, the prompting of like, oh man, like that can mean so many different things, and how you decide to interpret it, I think is so cool from like that character creation perspective, right? Like truly, like I have to ask, how long did it take you to write these questions? Because like
Because questions
I
are
feel like
Yeah.
harder RPG
there's
design than they look like too.
yes,
Yeah, are
they
they?
have
Right. You knows it's really tough. Yeah.
because you want them to be insightful, but you want them to like kind of prompt like that thinking without being like yes or no. And I feel like open-ended questions are like really, really difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do. I took a lot of time, and now we're kind of, as we're growing and making more games and bringing more writers,
Mhm.
a lot of the training that we do is how to write these things. It is kind of tricky, but if you like your stories, you're totally gonna get it. You're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I
Mhm.
get it like right away. So
Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep.
So now that we're
Um,
talking, I'm kind of thinking I don't want to make him all about control. I want to throw in something chaotic into the whole mix. Like
let's do it.
let's make let's not have all his themes kind of align. The contrary, let's make them clash.
Yeah.
So but what is a useful chaotic feeling? Oh, yeah, I feel like it's like sense of adventure or a sense of like creativity or something that is
Yeah.
came out of the other world that was just too much for him, but it did stay with him in a way.
Uh-huh.
It's like freedom. It could be connected to freedom,
Ooh.
like
Yeah.
like
I like that though. Like they're like it's like always on the edge of his mind of like this like exploration and freedom and like being able to go and do whatever he wants to do, but like he's limited because it's like no, I have my little schedule that I keep and I have all the stuff. But in the back of his mind, he's totally like it's the out there kind of like
yeah.
vibe.
So I'm gonna say this is gonna be something I'm gonna have to talk to my MC about, but I'm gonna say something like a sense of wild freedom.
Okay.
And it's something that will come into play usually when someone tries to limit my freedom too much.
Yeah.
That's
Mm-hmm.
when I'm going to have a +1 to push against it, and it could be mental,
Right.
it could be psychological,
When
and
someone tries to put you in a box of some kind, right? Like
exactly.
tries to define for you what it looks
Yeah.
like.
So it's like, thanks very much. I'm
So
putting
good.
myself in a box, but get
Yeah.
out of my way. You do not put me in a box.
Excuse me. I am the box master. Look at me.
Exactly.
I'm the box master now.
I'm being
Exactly.
told in the
So
chat, I don't know, sounds like a broad tag.
yes, good, but no. Let me show you why. Okay, can you investigate with this tag?
Not really. I mean,
Maybe.
I could in this dissertation, I will I will write
It's gonna be
like
an argument if you try.
here's my
Yeah.
30 slide PowerPoint to
Exactly.
show.
Nobody puts
So-
nobody puts baby in a different corner than baby's preferred corner.
Exactly. Oh my God.
I think that's
Yes.
too much. to
That
put in
should be
one
the tag.
Yeah.
That should be
Yeah.
the tag. So yeah, so it's the rule of thumb is like how try to make moves with this tag and see how many moves it applies to, or think
Mhm.
about like combat, investigation, and social, and see how many types of scene it can be into. And actually, this kind of we have other characters with similar tags, and you usually can do it as a defensive role. So I, as an MC, wouldn't call it very broad. Um,
Mhm.
Again, some players would be like, "Oh, I'm just like walking down the street and I want to shoot this guy, and it's my freedom, so I want to invoke this tag." Okay, so if you got these
Right.
players, just show them the door. You know that that's
Right.
not how it works.
It opens up that you have it needs to be a conversation, right? With the table that you're at, who you're playing with,
Yeah,
to define that scope and what that means. And I love like you were like, I would need to talk to my MC about this. Like
yeah,
it really is just like making that social contract of like, okay, this is the scope of this thing. This is how it would work. I'm not
exactly.
gonna try and use it to like declare freedom for everything around
For
me.
everything,
Like,
exactly.
yeah.
That's not the idea. The idea is that my character was touched by something wildly unfettered, and and that's somewhere inside of him. And every now and then,
Mhm.
I'm gonna want to bring that into the story. So let's talk about when
Mhm.
that could happen. And yeah, so this is really important to do. And as an MC, if you're MCing this game, you want to let your players do it because that's going to
Yeah,
create some really beautiful moments.
I've been told now,
absolutely.
Fumbling Forward Yo says they'll allow it for now, but we may need to revisit the conversation in the future.
Thanks, Fumbling Forward. Yeah, so that's what I want to go with, something a little crazy.
Okay.
And then let's see what other stuff. What part of your old self, while deeply changed, still serves you? What part of your old self, while deeply changed, still serves you? Eh, I don't know. What mundane but useful object did you obtain during the defining event? Okay, that could be a thing. What authority was vested in you? I don't think so. During your defining event. Um, who did you bond or connect with in the aftermath? What skill or mundane ability did you pick up during? What knowledge did you gain access to thanks to your defining event? Maybe. Um, hmm, hmm, hmm.
Okay, but what physical change or improvement stemmed from your defining event is a very, very good question. I love it.
Yeah, because things can happen, right? Like you're
Right.
changing, your body could change, yeah. Um, so let's
Oh
think about
gosh.
it. What happened to him? Something happened to him. He brought the other world over. It was too much. It was too chaotic, but it also gave him this crazy sense of freedom.
Mhm.
And I want to say about what physical change or improvement stemmed from your defining event. I want to say that he kind of got more athletic afterwards because he one of his ways is like just I don't know parkouring or running on the streets and feeling
Right.
that freedom and being a little weird about it.
Right. Right.
So I want to say something like nimble or athletic or one of those
Ooh,
things like
I love nimble. Nimble's very good.
nimble. So it's like it's also connected to freedom, but it's something really physical and down to earth. He's on the street, he's running. That's his way of
Hmm.
being free out of his little box that he puts himself in.
Yep.
And
He can get
oh
to
my god,
crowds easily. It feeds in so well.
yeah. So and how do you treat people? How do people treat you? Sorry, because of your defining event. How do people treat you? Because like in a useful way, because of your
Hmm.
defining event. And I'm gonna say we're gonna take the tag wild look in the eyes, which means that
Okay.
whenever I want to just tell people to get away or something, I can use it
Right.
to intimidate.
Right. Right.
Um,
And like kind of keep people at bay sort of a thing. It feeds,
yeah,
it can go both ways, right? Like it can be either like I'm drawn to this person because they have that wild look in their eyes, so like something like is gonna go on, or like that person is freaking me out because they look weird. I'm gonna give them a wide berth. Like it's
exactly.
flexible.
Yeah. So that's good. Let's look at weakness tags. What emotional scar or baggage did it leave you with following your defining event? What responsibility or social burdens do you have to shoulder? Not so much here. Who or what is haunting you because of your defining event?
Ooh.
Yes. I'm gonna pick that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also what is now broken within you physically or mentally due to your defining event. But I do feel we have to bring in like the other world people. I think we're gonna say he's
Yes.
kind of like hunted by the what's their name? The She, which is Sidhe. They are the fairy people, like the Banshee, and all these.
I love this. Oh
So,
gosh.
whew, what a ride! I'm just like, this is pretty crazy.
This is so good.
Yeah, this is
This
good.
is a very cool character.
Yeah. It's just, I'm gonna call my therapist right after that.
So there was
I got a lot to work through.
Yeah,
there was a
totally.
question earlier, and we get there's
Yeah.
not a like a hard rule on like a number, but how many moves do you think a tag can apply to before you would consider it broad?
So it's tricky. You guys have to be there's two like angles you want to test it. There could be a tag that applies to all the moves and it's not at all broad. It's just something like it's a specific situation. Let's take Colin, for example. Okay. I'm gonna get a +1 with Colin, whatever move I do, if he's around, if it's inspired by him.
Right.
Okay. But it's only when it's there. That's not a broad tag. So the other way to look at it is, also if you have it in multiple types of scenes. So can I dominate both investigative scenes, combat scenes, social scenes? Then it starts getting, so you really have to feel for it.
Yeah, it's less of a hard game term and more of if you're like dominating situations with the tag, we might need to drop it down some.
Yeah.
It also sounds like it's something the like MC has a lot more control over though, right? Like if the MC's like, and Colin is going to be your best, like you can have moments where Colin is always there, right? So you do have that access. It's like, it's almost like a resource availability kind of a thing, right? Where the MC can kind of put limiters on, like someone in chat just says, has an imposing presence tag, right? Like, is that really going to matter? Like, in certain situations and having that conversation, right? Like what does imposing mean in certain situations?
I mean, for me, it's great if it's a social tag like that, has an imposing presence. Great. Add it to every move that you make where it's useful, but try and coax information out of a scared witness, and that's not going to work. And that's actually could be against you. And also, it's never going to help you shoot a gun in my table.
Yeah.
I mean, people just bend it. No, it's just not going to make you shoot better. And it's not going to make you analyze a crime scene better. So, that it's really not as complicated as people kind of when they first see this game. It's quite things like lucky often becomes something that people abuse. That's like can be technically invoked theoretically in each one. Each roll, so it's too much, but it's just there exactly to stave off power gamers like me and make sure that we don't ruin the game.
I think one thing, and it's a mindset, it's like something that I have to shift in my mindset is I think we all have this idea of like there are either strengths or there are weaknesses, but like really it's like you have a trait that is a strength and a weakness, right? So like for Lucky, that's gonna help you out a lot of the time. Seemingly, but like, you lucked out and you got this thing that you needed. But what you didn't see if you looked 3 steps ahead is that now you are in a dangerous situation. Like you have this thing, great, but there are unintended consequences down the line from that. Like you're not lucky all the time. Or like if you're like a really smooth talker, right? Great. You were able to talk yourself into a situation that you do not have the skills to cope with. Like it's understanding that strengths are weaknesses just depending on that setting and being able to play with those and like build the narrative around it.
Yeah, totally agree. And that's exactly the way it plays. You reminded me of a character that I once wanted to explore where a lot of their luck was just invisible to them. Like they were super lucky, but they didn't know that because usually being lucky could be not getting what you want right now so that you can get something later, or it's like destiny, it's taking you in a certain way and you're really kicking and screaming, but it's taking you where you need to be.
Exactly. I love it.
Okay, so I guess the last thing for this character
is an identity.
Is an identity for this defining event. And let's see what are the suggestions. A worldview that you adopted following your defining event, something you promised to yourself or someone else following your defining event, how you perceive yourself in light of your defining event. So I think the last one is really good. And it could be something like I could never, or I must never, or something that is kind of scared about. Um, um, I would say something as simple as like freedom is dangerous.
Yeah, that's great.
Ooh.
And
Ooh, yes.
it's like he's screwed with that concept that is, burnt into his mind based on that event. Like we need to flesh it out, like who got hurt and kind of stuff, what happened exactly. But yeah, that's pretty
That's
much
what you get to explore as you play the game, right? I love building characters that have that little bit of mystery. Like, I don't know what that means yet, but I'm gonna find out. Like, that's the best.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it. We have him. We can call him Dara after the McDara character. And that's Dara. He's a subway guy with wild otherworldly powers that's
So
trying
cool.
to control it all.
Yeah, this is
This
great.
is wonderful. So one thing, okay, as we've been talking about in this game, it's very clear that there are like the opportunity for big cinematic legendary moments is just all the time. So as someone who's wrote the game, played the game, is there a moment that as you were playing stands out to you where you just had that like larger than life moment in game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, I got to play it as a player less than emceeing it when we were testing it, but I did get to do it a couple of times. And I was playing a character called Lance Sullivan, who's the sample character in the player's guide, and he is Don Quixote, the guy that runs after windmills.
Yep.
So at one point, I think that he had to sacrifice one of his themes. So the whole idea is that you can have huge transformations in your character. You can if you don't follow your mysteries or identities, you start checking off boxes, and eventually you lose the theme. So if you don't hold true to the theme, you lose it, and it becomes replaced with a theme from the other color.
Okay. So if you don't hold that mythos, you gain a logos or vice versa. So you're kind of, it's that spectrum of, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
so you have a fluctuation. Cool. Your character can, I mean, you don't want to be the legend that you are. Fine. You're just going to become more ordinary, or you're starting to stretch things, during the campaign or adventures. You're just like, not holding true to your identities. You're going to break the mold. You're going to become more legend, and you can even go all the way to one of the ends, and that totally gets crazy then. But so one of the times when I was playing with this character Lance, he discovered a plot related to some kind of a corporation that was using people, whatever, and he lost one of his logos themes, and he gained a new mythos theme called Giant Slayer, because he thought the windmills were giants in the story. So, and then he just killed that CEO of the corrupt corporation with those tags from Giant Slayer, and that was like a big epic moment.
I love it.
But these crises of the characters, that's the coolest thing, because some people are afraid to change themes, and then they do it and they get pretty excited about it, because it's such a dramatic event. Your character really changes.
That's so cool. I love, again, like the flexibility of it all, and how like it pushes you build that conflict with the PC, right? Of like, here's these big moments and these little moments, and like getting to like see the power in each of them. Like, I love the idea that like your little mundane logos, like the fact that you're kind of like a socially awkward guy, is the reason that you're able to like overcome like entire, systems of villainy or whatever. I think that's like so fun to explore that, right? Like, because we do want to be the big, cool, overpowered things, but it's kind of also nice to know that just like the regular person is the hero. You know what I mean? Like the Samwise. Somebody in chat was like, it's the Samwise. It's like,
He's the best. He doesn't even have a ring. He's just himself. Whole thing.
The best.
He's the best. He's the best. My favorite.
Awesome. I mean,
Cool.
I think we're kind of wrapped up. Keegan, do you have any questions kind of take us out on, or
Um, no, nothing offhand.
awesome.
Yeah. No, this was a
Awesome.
blast.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
for me
it
too.
was wonderful. Before we
Cool.
go, is there anything you want to plug, promo? Can you tell people where they can find you, where they can find your stuff, if they want to get into City of Mist, all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to get into City of Mist, please go ahead to cityofmist.co, where you will find everything about City of Mist. You can also check out our YouTube channel that has tons of videos about the game, including how to play, but also like minutia and all the little questions that kind of come up and different explorations of the lore. So people really love that channel, and so do we. That's it. I mean, really, you can find
Awesome.
everything on our site. That's the best place to go.
Awesome. Perfect. I'll just do a quick outro for me. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm one of the cult leaders here at Cult EXE. I do a bunch of TTRPG stuff all over the place. You can find me Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, all the places at Osarix Franco. And you can see all the stuff that I'm up to, making characters that push all the buttons. I know we have some cult activities coming up here in the spooky month that I'm very excited about, but I'm going to let Keegan talk a little bit about that and what else we've got going on at Plus One EXP.
Yeah, of course. So we will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the first part of our two-part Choke actual play. Choke's a RPG by Chloe Fulminata. Have it here. We're super excited about it. Then we'll be back on the 27th. We're playing Raven's Crest. It's a 80s and 90s themed like high school horror RPG. We'll be back on the
Very
28th for Goth Court, which is going to be a 20 to 30 player. We'll see how it goes.
It's gonna be fine.
And then we're back on the 30th with the Zone at 2 p.m. And I think that's it for us.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Amit, again for joining us. Thanks, chat, for coming and having wonderful questions. And we will catch you later. We hope that you enjoy your pizza.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everyone.